Talk about it, clap. Yo, what's up, everybody? First and foremost, to anybody dealing with the trials and tribulations that are the effects of Hurricane Milton, thoughts go out to you and all of that good thing. But please, please, please make sure that you are not falling for any dupes or scams that revolve around donating money to a cause, and you're actually giving money to a bunch of people who are open and willing to steal from people at their worst and lowest points. Make sure that it is an official website that you're going to. Don't give someone money to give to someone else. Don't be on some third party stuff. Try not to be a beta on the internet, okay? Reading is fundamental. Try it. But sometimes the thievery and theft that takes place doesn't need to be a scam. Sometimes it's literally by design. And for all of the great things that people will talk about AI can do and all of the good that will come from it, we don't take a lot of time to think of the treachery that could be involved with us dealing with it, such as price fixing and price gouging. And while this article isn't so much about price gouging, we do have stories about that, but we're in a day and age where we have cameras in every one of these stores that can identify us. One story that comes to mind is the Amazon story, where they literally were using AI and saying, yeah, just put whatever you want into your basket, and when you leave, we'll charge you for it. We found out that was just them basically using manual labor with a bunch of technicians and call center people out in India. It isn't where it needs to be, but that doesn't mean for the sake of saving money or making money that they won't get it to where it needs to be. One of the ways that they're going to learn how to do this is if they see your face on a camera. What's stopping them from realizing they have a list of everything you bought last time and just bumping the price up 13 cents as you walk down the row? And then once you leave, they drop the price, right? What's stopping them from doing that? What's going to be a deterrent? Let's dig in, shall we? The future of shopping is here with digital price tags, and some are worried. Price tag is going digital. Walmart is a leading charge into the future, into shopping and its mega retail stores and chains. Industry grocery giant Kroger's are replacing paper and ink price tags with electronic labels that can be used to quickly raise or lower the prices of items. Electronic shelves labeled as are already common in Europe and have become widespread in the US. Walmart planning to implement the labels to 2,300 stores by 2026. Several Walmart in California already featured this new technology, a spokesperson said. It is a transition that has prompted concerns that some technology opened the doors to price gouging. Despite retailers' assurance, some assurance that will be, the labels won't be used to jack up the cost. Like, who's still trusting companies out here that they won't jack up the prices? Who's actually believing that? I'm not believing that. Y'all better not believe that. With the electronics labels, employees can update prices and products in a few clicks, sparing them the time-consuming task of making print labels and putting them in place, retailers say. But the increase in efficiency has been met with a wariness among consumers advocates, including the U.S. Senate Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts and Bob Casey from Pennsylvania, who worry that the ability to easily change prices paves the way for grocers to take advantage of customers. And this isn't really something that we need to, we don't have to guess or assume that this is a problem. We know that this isn't a problem. We know that this is an inherent problem. How do we know this is a problem? Because it's happening right now. It's happening right now. Today, as of right now, over 200 price gouging complaints in Florida about fuel, water ahead of Hurricane Milton. Like necessities, essentials, things that people need to survive in this horrific incident. And I know a lot of people are talking about, well, why can't those people? A lot of people can't leave because the gas prices are too high. People couldn't afford it before inflation and stuff like that. So the fact that we now have to deal with price gouging during a state of emergency, man, those are truly scum of the earth type people. And you might be bewildered to take your frustrations out on the person who's being forced to work during a state of emergency Category 5 hurricane. You might have the urgency to want to take your frustrations out on that person. But let's keep it real. The reason why they're there is because they need money to work. And that these are all things that are done by corporate ghouls in the comfort of their own office. Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody has received more than 200 complaints about price gouging as many thousands of residents prepare to evacuate for Hurricane Milton. Soft ass name, strong ass winds. As of Monday, most of the complaints are about fuel, water, said Kylie Mason, Moody's spokesperson. The top 3 counties for complaints are Highlands, Hillsborough, and Pinellas. She added, there were also scattered instances involving overnight accommodations, including Airbnb listings, rooms in Tallahassee. Airbnb is dog water. I stayed at one Airbnb and I'm never going back. Airbnbs are meant for exotic travel for nearly $6,000 a night. Man, cold-blooded. Our team already reached out to our Airbnb corporate contacts and tracked down the owner. Mason said, we are sharing a copy of the price gouging status and making them aware their legal responsibility. An Airbnb spokesperson on Wednesday countered that the price for a listing that has been the same for over 2 years, it was not changed in response to the recent natural disaster. Yeah, but don't we think that during a natural disaster, and we'll talk about it, some pain points that maybe things we could do, because they do bring mention of the law. And there is a law on the federal books as Bill SB 3803, which talks about an act for stopping in general. It shall be unlawful for a person to sell or offer the sale of goods or services at a grossly excessive price, regardless of a person's position in supply chain or distribution network. So there are laws on the books for this, penalties reaching up to $10,000 per infraction, but it still happens. And we know it happens not only in the place where the incident is happening, right? Florida is experiencing the hurricane, but Georgia, the state over, where people who will be trying to avoid the hurricane are also experiencing a treasure trove of issues while doing this. So hundreds of complaints alleged price gouging in Georgia. Hurricane ordered is set to expire. There have been alarming but largely unsubstantiated reports on social media and beyond about widespread price gouging and its around Augusta, Georgia, in the wake of Hurricane Helena. From $10 a gallon of passenger car for gas to $35 for a 12-pack of water. The thing about it being unsubstantiated is hard to substantiate it in a crisis. A lot of people pay with cash. They pay on books. There's a lot of ways for people to usurp the process. I think there needs to be an overall approach to this and how we want to handle this and how we want to tackle it. But I do think we could probably amplify that, amend that S3803 bill and give a few more caveats, something to, como se dice, take the edge off. First and foremost, There needs to be, whenever there's a state of an emergency made, I feel like it's only right that there's a set standard for all necessity goods. So necessity goods will revolve around bread, water, maybe rice, gas, fuel. They should have a set standard price. Not in something, and it's to no projection of the company. You'll get a tax credit. You'll be reimbursed by the government. But I think that there needs to be some standardization of it. Socialism, the scary word. There needs to be some form of standardization while that state of emergency is going on. So that way there is no confusion. Everyone knows what's going to happen. Everyone knows what's going to, and you're like, how will they decide? Whatever the federal government is given, whatever the federal government's rate is, that should be the rate. For all you guys that don't know, when federal governments go into different states, like when they go to get a hotel room or they have to go do a mission, they get gas and other utilities at a certain rate. That should just be the standard during states of emergencies. And there's no better time to start implementing this. This is going to happen more often. So we need to stop pretending like this ain't going to be the case moving forward. You feel me? Second thing, and this will be a good project. You're a programmer out there. You're like, oh, I can't think of any cool projects. Hero, you have such good project ideas. I thought of this on the fly. Free 99 for you. There should be a standard, a chart or an app that will give real-time pricing for items. These are things that can be pulled from APIs off of websites. Websites have prices. In real time, everyone can then know the price. And companies should be obligated to make sure their prices online reflect the prices in store. Since everything is digital, it shouldn't be too much of a burden. That's why I'm not totally against the whole digital lifestyle. As diabolic as it could be, if you can look everywhere before you go somewhere, it'll prepare you for what's next, right? It'll prepare you for what's next. And also probably prove that they're tracking you. And this could be a total website. This could absolutely be a website that people could use. And then the last thing I think that needs to be said, like when people are, when you work at least when you work in a labor intense area, they always have mandatory posted signs in the break rooms about what your break times are, what the legal limit is, so on and so forth. That way there's no complaints, there's no arguments. No fighting about what's happening versus what's going on. I think we could benefit from that, implementing the first thing on the list and posting what the price of water, gas, and other emergency supplies are going to be set at the door during the state of emergency. Those need to be posted up, and a number needs to be able to reach a person if the said prices don't match what they're supposed to be. And there needs to be a way of identifying the store and what the location is and documenting such information. And this is something that you would readily think would be available to us already. But since companies own our politicians, it makes it hard for us to actually get them to represent us. But I did want to bring attention to this because it happens as many of these devastating situations that we're going to be facing as far as it comes with hurricanes and things like that. This will continue to happen. This will continue to be an issue that people will see. And the problem with the issues like this, smaller things like this fall to the wayside as people are desperately trying to evacuate and save as many lives as possible. The ramifications and the after effect, the trickle down trauma that comes from not being able to afford to have the means to leave but not have the ability to pay for it has got to be diabolical in nature. So I wanted to bring attention to this. Clap is not supposed to be a upper type story. I want to educate you and bring attention to things that I think are important. See you on the side.